Color in these cells. I'll make the first row a dark gray color. So to change the color of the first row within the opening TR tag for the first row, there is a BG color attribute, which means background color. And I will set this equal to gray. And our second row, let's make this light gray. So within the opening TR tag for the second row, let's set the BG color attribute equal to a different color like light gray. Pick whatever color you want, it doesn't necessarily have to be gray. So within the opening table tag, I will set the BG color equal to, what about black? Cool. These cells are left aligned, we can center them. To center the cells within a row within the opening TR tag, there is an align attribute. And let's set this equal to center. And the text is now centered. And lastly, let's make all of these cells the same size. This Wednesday cell is taking up a lot of space. Let's set the width equal to maybe 100 pixels. And I will just copy this. And with the opening table element, I will set this equal to the width of each cell times the number of cells that we have. So if each cell has a width of 100 and there's 7 cells, I will set the width equal to 700. And, well, there we go. All of these cells are now aligned. So, yeah, that's how to create a table in HTML. Just use a pair of table tags. For each row, add a pair of TR tags. If you need a row to function as a header, such as the days of the week, use TH tags. If you're filling in data for a cell, use TD tags for table data. So yeah, that's how to create a table in HTML. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to smash that like button, leave a random comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to become a fellow bro. Hey, what's going on everybody? In this video, I'm gonna show you how we can add color to a web page. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, now here's how we can add color to a web page. We'll be talking a little bit about CSS, but we'll cover this more in depth in the CSS series. I thought this would be a good place for us to introduce colors because we'll be able to color things like buttons and forms and whatnot. Here's how to add some color to a web page. Within the opening tag of an element of your choosing, there is a style attribute, and within double quotes, we can add CSS properties. For my website, I would like to change the background color to black because I think it would look cool. So within double quotes, list the CSS property you would like to change. Background color. After the colon, you can either add a color name, RGB values, or hexadecimal values. Let's just say the color black. There we go, we can no longer see my website. Let's change the font color of these individual H1 header tags. Again, it's the same process as before. Style equals, within double quotes, list the CSS property you would like to add. I would like to add color this time to change the font color, and I will pick red. There we go. This time, let's use RGB values. So again, style attribute equals the CSS property you would like to change. To instead use an RGB value, type RGB parentheses. Then I would recommend looking up a color picker, and you can pick a color of whatever you would like. What about blue? Perhaps that shade of blue. So RGB values are in a group of 3, a triad. So I will copy these 3 numbers and paste them within the parentheses of RGB. And the second H1 header tag is now that specific shade of blue. I tend to prefer to use RGB values or hexadecimal values over color names because you have more variety. Now let's use hexadecimal values. Style equals the CSS property of color. So hexadecimal values always start with a hashtag. What about green? So we'll have red, blue, and green. And I will copy this number. They are in groups of 6. And well, yeah, it's green now. Cool, right? Okay, now let's change both the font color and the background color of this paragraph. Within the opening tag of this paragraph element, we will set the style attribute equal to any CSS properties within double quotes. Let's change the background color first. Background dash color colon space. I'll set this to dark gray, which is 222222. Then to add multiple CSS properties, separate each with a semicolon. and this time I will change just the color. And I'll use the same shade of green. Alright, well, there we go. So, yeah everybody, that's how to add some colors to your webpage. There's more advanced things we can do when we reach the video series on CSS. But what you can do for now, within the opening tag of an element of your choosing, set the style attribute equal to whatever CSS properties you would like to add within quotes. So yeah, that's how to add color to a web page. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to smash that like button, leave a random comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to become a fellow bro. Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain the span and div tags. Let's begin with span. Span adds markup to text or portion of a document. Anything that I surround with a pair of span tags, I can apply markup or some effect to. So in my example document, I have a header and 3 paragraphs. What if I would like this specific sentence to be, I don't know, red? Well, what I could do is surround this sentence in my document with a pair of span tags. So I need an opening span tag and a closing span tag. And that sentence ends right here. And within this span tag, I can change some of the attributes of this sentence. So I would like to change maybe the style. I'll set the style color equal to red. Now you probably do want this closing tag. If you do not have this closing tag, your span will take up this entire section. So basically that's what span is. It adds markup to text or a portion of a document. Div is very similar, except it divides a division of a document. So what if I would like to change the background color of these 3 paragraphs? Well, what we learned in the last video on colors is that we could set the style background color equal to some shade of gray, maybe this value. This does work, and I could just copy this and paste it for each of these paragraphs. Or another way of doing this is that I can surround these 3 paragraphs with a pair of div tags. So we need an opening div tag and a closing div tag. And then I will apply this style attribute to the opening div tag, and it will apply this attribute to anything between these div tags. So yeah, that's basically what the span and div tags do. Span adds markup to text or portion of a document. Div defines a division of a document. So yeah, that's span and div in HTML. Yeah, let's begin. So, meta tags. The meta element represents various kinds of metadata that cannot be expressed using the title, base, link, style, and script elements. Metadata is data about data. We can add metadata to the head of our document, and this tells the web browser what our web page is about. With the meta tags, we place them within the head, not the body. So we can tell the web browser some information about our web page. Meta tags are self-closing. We do not need a closing tag. Meta tags do have a name attribute that we can set to one of many settings. Let's say we would like to add a description to this web page, and the web browser is going to read this description. After setting the name equal to description, I can set the content equal to a brief description of my web page. Perhaps free HTML tutorial for beginners. Okay, so that's one example of a meta tag. So let's create another. So meta. Again, these are self-closing tags, and I can add some keywords for search engine optimization. So name, keywords, content, and I'll explain my web page in just a few keywords. Perhaps HTML, separate each of these with a comma, tutorial, beginners. That'd be good. We can add a author, meta name equals author, content equals, and then type your name. So if somebody is viewing your web page on a mobile device, you can have your web page scale to their mobile device by adding this meta tag. Name equals viewport, content equals, and this will set the width of our web page equal to device dash width. Then comma, we can set the initial scale equal to 1.0. So by adding this meta tag, if you were to view this web page on a mobile device, this web page will scale proportionately with that mobile device. Another meta tag is a char set. We can tell a web browser what sort of character encoding that we're using. So authors are encouraged to use UTF-8 for Unicode. So if you want to use basic ASCII encoding, you would write ASCII here, although that's discouraged. Authors are encouraged to use UTF-8 for Unicode. Alright, and the last thing I'm going to show you is that we can set our web page to automatically refresh after a given amount of seconds. So meta http-equiv is the attribute name, equals refresh. And the content equals how many seconds you would like to wait to have your browser refresh. Perhaps 30. Okay, so I'm going to open this with live server. So if I set this to 30 seconds, it's not going to be that visible. You're going to have to wait until we see this refresh. Let's set this to something more drastic like 2 seconds. Let's crank this up. Yep, see, it's refreshing every 2 seconds. But let's set that back to 30. 2 seconds was just an example. So yeah, those are meta tags. They represent metadata. Metadata is data about data. By adding meta tags, we can tell a web browser information about our website, such as a brief description, keywords, author. We can set the viewport for mobile devices. You can set a refresh rate, stuff like that. And then be sure to add meta tags to the head element of your document. So yeah, those are meta tags. If you found this video helpful, please remember to smash that like button, leave a random comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to become a fellow bro. Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your bro, hope you're doing well, and in this video I'm going to explain how we can use iframes to embed web pages and other documents within your website. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey, welcome back. Iframes. The iframe element is used to embed content from another source into an HTML document. They're commonly used for advertisements, and they're easily abused with many hacking techniques. So basically, using an iframe, we can embed another web page within our web page, or we could embed our current HTML document with another HTML document. Here's how we can create an iframe. This is a self-closing tag, and we set the source equal to, this can be an external website, such as a URL, or we can place a relative file path to a file of our choosing. So this doesn't work with many websites, and I'll demonstrate that. So let's set the source equal to google.com, and then save and reload. So google.com refused to connect. That's because a lot of major websites have disabled the use of iframes. Since we're embedding another web page within our web page, a common hacking technique is that you can have this embedded web page take up the entire frame of your HTML document. Your website could pose as another website, and that could be considered dangerous. Let's say that you embed a banking website like Bank of America. So if somebody visits your website, it's actually a facade, and somebody will type in their banking information like their login credentials, and you could capture that. So a lot of major websites have disabled the use of iframes, so you cannot pose as their website. One website that I checked that does work is Bing. So let's switch our URL to that. Save and reload. Yeah, see, we have embedded the homepage of Bing. But let's change the width and height attributes because this is fairly small. Let's say the width is 750 pixels, and for the height, let's say maybe 250. So save and reload. Cool, yeah, we have embedded Bing within our web page, and you can use this normally. Bro code. Now let's embed another document, so let's create a new file. Let's pretend that this is an advertisement we would like to display within our web page. I'll name this ad.html. So if you're using VS Code to generate an HTML document, a plain one, type exclamation point, then hit tab. So let's say something. I'll use an h1 header tag. This is an advertisement. And then close it. Let's change the background color too, using the style attribute. And I will pick the background color property and set this to maybe, I don't know, that color. Then let's change the width and height. For the height, maybe 100. Oh, then make sure to change your source as well. So we need to list the relative file path. Since these files are right next to each other, I only have to list the file name. Add.html. Save, reload. Cool, and there is my fake advertisement. Embedded pages do have a border. This is how to remove that. Set the style attribute equal